just want to welcome everybody here to our panel, Living with Stiff Person Syndrome, Patient and Caregiver Perspectives. I'm Tara Zier. I'm the founder and CEO of the Stiff Person Syndrome Research Foundation. I'm also a patient. And a huge thank you to the Samira Foundation and team for giving us this wonderful opportunity to be here. And I just want to acknowledge all the patients here and how amazing it is to connect with you all in person. And I know what it takes to travel to get here. And I have to say, Ellen, she may have won the contest for furthest traveled. Ellen, where did you come from?
Wow. From where? Brazil.
So Ellen has traveled from Brazil. She came in yesterday. How many hours, Ellen? 23 hours to be here with us today. So, and Ellen, I do believe the last time I saw you was in Connecticut. Is that right? And that was just in July. And I think that speaks volumes to the commitment for SPS patients to come together and to learn. So I just want to acknowledge all of you. And then really, Ellen, it's amazing to see you again and your commitment to be with us. So thank you. I know I've got Michael looking at me for time, so I'm going to be cognizant of that. You know, physiological anxiety comes with this disease. So I want to just mention to everybody on the panel, we've got some questions, and then at the end, we'll open it up a little bit to people in the room. And if there's at any point you want to tap out, you don't want to answer, you can always pass the mic. We'll work through it together. So I just want to make sure everybody's comfortable. And so let's go ahead and dive in. I want to start with some quick, short introductions. Your name, condition, which we know it's Stiff Person Syndrome, patient or a caregiver, and how long did it take to get a diagnosis? And estimate if you don't have an exact time. So you want to start? You want to start, Alicia?
Sure. Is this on? Hi, my name is Alicia Shanklin, and I have SPS. I'm glycine receptor positive, though, not GAD positive. It took me 3 years to get diagnosed, but only because I had a previous diagnosis of conversion disorder, which made me so darn mad that I made my way to Mayo. And they knew it almost immediately when I walked in the door. But had that not happened, I don't know how long it would have taken. What was the rest of the question?
That was it.
Okay.
Thank you. No, that was good. These are short intros. So
My name is Bryce Morrison, and I'm diagnosed with classic stiff person syndrome. And I have had symptoms developing since 2010. I went to see a doctor in 2013, and that's when the misdiagnoses started. My last misdiagnosis was in 2014 for fibromyalgia. And coincidentally, one day before that, I had asked ChatGPT, with all my symptoms, and it says, "Why don't you get a test for GAD65 antibodies?" And so, but the rheumatologist disregarded. He just said, "Oh, you have fibromyalgia. I know it." So then it was only after talking with an attorney for fibromyalgia on that December that he said, "Well, why don't you get tested for GAD65? So all these doctors that I knew in Spokane, they just couldn't put one-on-one together. But AI did, ChatGPT, and an attorney did. And so I joined a group online, and one of my new best friends right here recommended that I contact Dr. Shuvro Roy and get connected with him, because nobody in Spokane could treat stiff person syndrome. but he could over here in Seattle. So that's how I got connected with this group too.
Thank you, Bryce.
Hi, I'm Jill Ivy, and I enjoy a few illnesses. So I have Lyme disease. I want to say that I was healthy as a horse until I did infertility treatments. And then all of a sudden, type 1 showed up, and then Lyme disease, and then, it went on and on. So I have Lyme disease. I don't know if there's a connection there. I think Lyme is an underlier causing things. The most gaslit of any disease, anything I deal with is Lyme disease. It's awful. At least SPS, people believe it, doctors do, but gaslit all the time. Bartonella, Babesia, I have classic stiff person syndrome. I'm bipolar 2, medicated for it. I was diagnosed with psoriatic arthritis. I'm not sure if I believe it. As I said, type 1 diabetes, hypothyroid, which is treated, and I have low blood pressure, which is treated. So that's that. And I don't know how long I've had it. I thought I was just another continuation of Lyme, and my Lyme doctor sent me, when we moved to Washington, my Lyme doctor sent me to a neurologist, an inferior neurologist, and she immediately suspected SPS, and I'm really lucky. And she did blood work, GAD65, brain MRI, which I'd had 3 before, and they were all consistent. I have lesions on my brain. And also she did a lumbar puncture instead of an EMG. And so anyway, everything confirmed SPS. And he is a saint.
Thank you, Jill.
I'm Michael. I'm her caregiver.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for being here. That was about the shortest introduction, I think. A shout out to Michael, caregivers. I want to highlight caregivers out here. If anyone's comfortable raising their hand, and that you all are unbelievable. Just want to acknowledge you all. So, okay, Melody, you're up.
I have my own microphone. It's terrifying. I'm Melody. I was really just recently diagnosed, I think within the last, maybe it's been 2 months. And this has all just been this year, maybe starting since April. And the wisdom, I ended up hospitalized because my primary care doctor was pretty dismissive, and ended up finally hospitalized, and the hospital doctor ran the GAD65, and that got me in connection with the neurologist. I don't know if I feel entirely settled into my diagnosis and my role in life, because they've told me that my symptom presentation is a unicorn among diseases that are unicorns, and so I still feel pretty lost on, am I in the right place? I'm doing IVIG and it's helping, so I'm happy about that. That's a good sign. So it's been maybe 6 months. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all for sharing. I think listening to all of you, it's quite clear when I asked, it would seem like a simple question, how long did it take to get diagnosed? It's very clear that was bumpy for many of you. It's muddy, it's unclear. So it just highlights that more research needs to be done to understand the disease and get people to an accurate diagnosis much quicker. So I'll move to the next question. So, and this can help people who are maybe just receiving a diagnosis. What key learnings would you share with newly diagnosed patients? Could you share anything that may help someone who's newly diagnosed? They've just received the news that they have stiff person syndrome. Is there anything that you could share that might help them?
Go first again. So I guess I would say just keep trying things. I did do rituximab for a couple of years, and my spasms mostly disappeared. I had full body crazy spasms, and now I have very mild spasms. I had a stem cell transplant, not because of stiff person syndrome, but something else. I would tell you that didn't really help me, but oddly enough, methotrexate, which is a precursor to a stem cell transplant, really helped, and I'm now in a study about that. If you read on your website, they say a 56-year-old woman, that's me. I tried it, and I'm continuing to do a little experimental trial here at UW, and I felt a little bit of gain, so I can't tell you that I'm all the way better, but I used to need a walker all the time, and now I don't. So I guess I just say keep trying stuff, because there isn't any real answer. And I'd be really cautious about thinking stem cell transplant is the holy grail. I thought it was before I qualified for something else, and it is not, for sure.
Oh, thank you. That's really helpful and insightful to share. Yep.
I've got two things. One is to be your own advocate and do as much research as you can on your own, and rather than relying on a provider to ask the right questions. Unfortunately, my own advocate includes ChatGPT, so because it's the one that gave me the correct answer first. And my second advice is to be in a community, even on an online community, because we're so spread so far out, including Brazil down there, that I would say that is the best way that we can stay connected. And it's been encouraging. It's been a positive, not a negative, not a whining, together kind of an experience. It's been, it's been a good, I'd say, a good experience to be with other people who are in the same boat.
Thank you.
So I wrote the what's been helping me. That list is longer than anything else. So I had a number of different things wrong with me. So adding a new disease was like, geez, I've never even heard of this one before, because it was before Celine got diagnosed. I was diagnosed in 2020. I'd say humor helps me a lot. Sometimes we just went on vacation to Tahiti, which was extremely difficult from a physical standpoint. But he did a great job planning and made sure that we had handicap accessible rooms, and the elevator broke in our tower. And so he went to the front desk like, my wife's disabled, because I am. I'm less disabled than I was before IVIG. But they sent 3 really polite young Tahitian men up to the room. Strapping men, yes. And they were like, put your arms around my shoulder. And I couldn't, because I have tears around my rotator cuffs. It's extremely painful to hang on to somebody. So they got a desk chair and carried me down, and he took a picture of me, and I was laughing so hard I was crying. And so I find that really helpful, because it's so ridiculous sometimes what we go through. Absolutely ridiculous. I go to therapy. I had a neuropsych evaluation because cognitive is my biggest problem besides constant pain. My violent spasms are greatly reduced because of IVIG, so I'm one of the lucky people that's responding to that. I joined the SPS. I joined a bunch of different SPS Facebook groups, and now I really only participate in one because I found one far more helpful than the others. And we have weekly calls on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and I've met people like Bryce, and I get great tips from other patients, so connecting to other patients is probably one of my biggest recommendations. Somebody said, take a empty hot water bottle with you on the plane and have the flight attendant fill it up. And that just happened on this flight to Tahiti. I have a hex on the TSA at LAX, by the way. They suck. I do IVIG. Gabapentin instantly changed me when I started to take it the first time. It was a complete game changer. I make calls every day to other people who are suffering from illnesses, difficulties, loss, whatever, and just listen to them, because being of service to other people, like look what Tara does to be of service to other people, helps me greatly, and it is, and just listening, and it gives me a sense of purpose also. I'm pretty unreliable because of my cognitive, like I can't volunteer to do stuff because I'm unreliable. I can barely remember to do anything. For me, and I write daily gratitude lists, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's I could get up and go to the bathroom today. I mean, they're pretty basic, but it's amazing how it shifts my thinking. I think if I focused on everything that I lost, which is a lot, right? All of us have lost a lot of life. And sometimes, like going on vacation, we used to scuba dive together. Well, I can't do that anymore. I couldn't even snorkel. I tried. I did the second time. I would say try things at least twice. Like I couldn't even get my behind and feet up in the water to kick out. And I was shocked. I mean, I thought, oh, this is great. I'm going to be in warm water, blah, blah, blah. No. But I tried it a second time, and then I could. So try twice. Have good doctors. I've had horrible ones. I've been dealing with some kind of chronic illness since 2000, and I've had some really horrific ones. And I want to write a book, I need to stop talking. The other ones are all real short. How to chronically chronic, and it's about dealing with the medical profession and what we have been through. And sometimes it's hilarious. My friend Cheryl, a hospital kept calling, trying to find out who was getting her affairs in order about her bills. And she said, well, I'm Cheryl. No, Cheryl died in May. And they argued with her. So that's my favorite. Massage. I have a sadist as a masseuse, and you can't believe, and some people that doesn't work with SPS. For me, huge, huge change. Educating other people about the disease. I love talking to other people, so if you want to exchange email, phone number, WhatsApp, Facebook, I will love that, and that's that. So, and I'm basically doing a Mediterranean diet also. Anyway.
Thank you, Jill. And don't forget your cushion.
Oh, show and tell. Yeah. I have lordosis, like many of us do, and this cushion is Tempur-Pedic, and I named it Butter because my butt sits on it. So when he carries it for me, and he says, "Let me butter your seat," so. And my cane with the flip-down seat on it, which is in the other room, is Digger, because a friend saw me with it. Kevin. Oh, Kevin, excellent. Yeah. Somebody from SPS Facebook suggested naming your medical implement, so I've named all of mine.
I love that.
Yeah, but that's Digger, because my friend thought it was a clam digger, so. And say more than you did before, I'll be bossy.
No.
Pass the mic, Michael. No, I'm kidding.
She has her own. I mean, I can't really say much about, what helps her. But I think one of the things as a caregiver that you have to learn is not do too much. Because if you're doing too much, you're depriving your partner of the possibility to do things her or himself, and which gives you, even with little things, and especially when you have SPS, you can't do big things anymore. So you have to take it's much more difficult. So you have to take satisfaction in doing the little things. So as an example, like, me making coffee for her, which is nice, I mean, I make coffee for myself, I just might as well make coffee for her. But that deprives her of the opportunity to do those things for herself. And this is something where you really need to learn, or where I needed to learn discernment, and I'm lousy at it. I still do way too much in that regard, just because it's so easy. But I think that's one of the most important things, to let your partner do whatever they can do, just A, for the pleasure of it, and B, kind of just to get the movement and get off the couch, get off the chair and move around, keep mobility and this kind of stuff.
Wow, thank you.
How do you take care of yourself?
Kind of in between moments.
That was, I appreciate you sharing that, Michael. It just, yeah, that was really amazing to hear that, and how aware and thoughtful that was. Thank you. Yeah.
I guess my turn. So I'm still really new in this, and I guess my biggest piece is being your own advocate and being comfortable to be your own advocate. So I'm a clinical social worker, and I help very sick patients, and it's really crappy being on this side, and having to learn how to be a patient, and having initially a doctor it was very dismissive, wouldn't even make eye contact with me, and really being very frustrated and thinking, feeling very defeated and going, I need to go in with the mindset of a social worker and not a mindset of a patient. And he's just sitting there on his computer, just not even acknowledging me. And I need you to stop, look at me. I need you to see me. And I realize now, going back, I've been hurting and stiff and struggling for a year, having a hard time getting out of the car. And there's been a lot, but things I've been talking to him about is, they're just so dismissed because you're young, and just because you look okay doesn't always mean you're okay. And so just trying to adjust to a new life over the last few months. My insurance made me do a trial, a month of Valium, which has made my life miserable and doubly bad because it's, extra symptoms on top of my old symptoms. So trying to stay connected to our friend group and trying to still do things that give meaning. There's days where I can't do much, and I feel like I'm a giver, and I'm busy, and I care for people, and I can hardly do anything. So my thing lately is we have a big garden, and we live by a big college, and we have lots of students and people that walk, and so I go out, and as much as I can, I harvest, and I collect up tomatoes and cucumbers and zucchinis, and I put them in a little basket that I've tied to the corner, and if all I can do is sit in my swing and watch people come and enjoy a tomato, or it makes me feel like I'm still contributing, that I still matter.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's just.
And meds make me really emotional.
It's okay.
So
it's a safe space up
labile
here.
is my favorite
it's
word.
Really okay. It's okay. And thank you for sharing that. I think that's beautiful and so authentic and true to how you feel and what makes you still feel connected in some way. And I think that's so important for everybody. So I really appreciate that. So one last question. Okay. Michael, give me the eye if we start to get tight. So I'd like to, it's kind of a two-part question. And I think it's really important for people to understand both of these. So the first part is, I know there's so many challenges in living with SPS, but I'd like to hear from you all what you feel like is the biggest challenge. If you could say the one biggest challenge of living with this disease, because it may not be what's obvious to others. And the second part is, if you could name the one thing that's helped you the most in living with this disease. And anybody can go first. I know Alicia, you've been in the hot seat to go first, but anyone can jump in. If you want to start, you're welcome to.
The one thing that I think that's hardest for me is just the series of losses. Loss of mobility, loss of ability. We used to go on lots of walks with our dogs. It was our main sort of free recreational activity. Loss of the income with my career, loss of the work environment and friends with my career, loss of travel with my career. And I think I'm constantly grieving for my own self, and I can't quite go through the whole grief process because it continues to happen. So for me, that's the most difficult part. And it's also been pretty traumatic for my daughter, who's now 20, but she's gone through this 10-year journey too. So that's been really, really hard. The one thing that helped me the most, is that the second part of the
Yes,
question?
the second part is if there's one thing you could share that's helped you the most living.
I think I'd go back to where I started, which is just to keep doggedly trying. Since there is no perfect cure, just keep pushing and pushing and pushing your doctors and asking questions and being willing to try something maybe that's experimental. So that, I guess that's it.
Great, thank you. Okay, Bryce.
Okay, well, I'd say that for me the biggest challenge has not just been dealing with the pain, it's been losing those things that I identified with, the activities that I could do. My profession for years of being a computer programmer, as my arms have been affected where I can't do the same movement without aggravating the pain because of the muscle tension on both sides there. That has been a significant loss. And the second thing is my hobbies of playing music. I've lost almost the ability to play almost every instrument except for one that I've adapted to. And even that I play with just a very limited amount of time. And so those things that I identified with losing my identity in that and needing to reestablish my identity as part of a win, meaning that what can I do? I can still listen to the music that I enjoyed, and I can still play a little bit, and I can lose my thought in what I was about to say and pass the microphone. How about that?
I love that. That's the sense of humor.
I gave you a bunch of my what do I do to help. So the hardest thing is loneliness, because I'm a really social person and I've lost 90% of my social life, which I used to be really good at, and my cognitive issues, which contributes to not being able to participate in a social life. I can't. Medical portals, I have 5 main ones, but I have 14, And I can't even, the other day, UW was trying to contact me to schedule a therapy, and I thought it said speech therapy. And so I'm like, what is he sending me for that for? Can talk, no problem. So I did have a neuropsych evaluation. I think the result was low average, which means I'm kind of nuts, but not plumb nuts. So that's that. But the main thing that helps is staying in the day instead of thinking about what am I going to lose next or how am I going to end up. I'm also really hard to see what this does to him because he worries so much, and he's an overgiver, and I'm just so grateful to have a partner like that, and I really want him to take care of himself too. So, but focusing on the day, not about what I lost and not about what I will lose, but where am I today? What can I do today? And the hardest thing I do every day is lift my head because it's so painful. And so upon awakening, just like lifting my head and then sitting up is, scream inducing. So, but I do it.
Thank you, Jill. I'll prep you.
The hardest thing is probably the worry. Will she get worse? What if Medicare stops covering the therapy? And especially what if something happens to me? And, I can't really pack myself in wool. That's not overly helpful either. But also scratchy. But I think the worry is ultimately the worst part. What helps, you have to still have your own life. And I have a bunch of friends. I love going scuba diving. And, sometimes you just have to go and see fish. There's nothing better than that. Spiritual practice helps. It's essential. I mean, if ultimately you get to the point when peeling potatoes is pretty much the same thing as reading a book, then the whatever daily chores and stuff, that just has to happen. Somebody has to take care of things. That then does not become drudgery. It's just, the next thing that's to do. And also it's helpful kind of looking at, for her, kind of what's out there, new therapies, what's coming, because it also kind of gives you hope that, something is moving, that this might not be sort of the ultimate deterioration, might not be what's going to happen. There might be something out there that, will push that thing out enough that, we can have a really good life together.
Thank you, Michael. Melody. The biggest challenge, if you could name the one biggest challenge in living with SPS, and the one thing that's helped you the most.
I would say unpredictability. I don't know what's happening from moment by moment or day by day with my body. Am I going to hurt? Can I walk? Can I get up? Am I going to pee myself again? Am I going to have a job? Am I going to be able to pay my bills? What does my future look? Everything feels unpredictable, from the tiniest, am I going to choke when I swallow, to the biggest of what my future looks like. So that's tremendous. And what helps is a positive attitude and focusing on what I can do, and staying connected to my friend group and our social group. Even if I can't participate, we dance. We've been dancers for 15 years, and we dance regularly, and it's my joy, and it's what fills my cup. And when I can, that's, but if I can sit in the chair, and I can visit with everybody else, and I can be present, and I can be emotionally filled. So learning to adapt that way has helped.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd love to, at this point, see if anyone from the audience, I know we have a really nice, intimate, small group. If you all have any questions for the panelists, please feel free to ask.
Thanks.
So, kind of just about the last speaker who spoke, I believe that was Melody. She's talked about uncertainty, and I was wondering, what have all of you experienced in dealing with that uncertainty over a longer period of time?
Does anyone want to speak to that? So, experience with dealing with uncertainty.
Okay, well, at least I'll fill in the blank a little bit. I'm disclaimer from a religious background, and so I have a different perspective than some people over here. That I believe that I keep myself in the same mindset that God is in control of certain circumstances, and that He can make the best. One of the best parts about this, that still relating to uncertainty, is that I was like the book of Job, where I lost all my identity, all the things that I treasured, and I put my self-worth in what I had been able to do, Puritan work ethic kind of a situation. How well can I play music, or all these other things? What can I go out and spend my time doing service? Now I can't drive because of hands and medication. So my identity, I had to detach from what I could do to I am who I am, and my value is not in what I can contribute to society. My worth is independent of that. I'm still, I can still rest and relax. And that is still my job, is to relax now. So that kind of a situation, I have to change my mindset like that. Change from being, the Maasai youth, went to be the Maasai warriors, and then they went to be the elders. And when they went to be from warriors to elders, they had to give up their weapons and take up a pipe. That kind of an entire change in life, transitioning from one generation to the next, all at the same time they did. And that's the mentality that I'm in right now, that I am just changing to a different phase in my life. And that's all I have to say.
Because I've been dealing with especially acute chronic illness since 2008, but since before then, uncertainty feels like a constant, so I'm used to it. I've gotten better with IVIG, if that gives hope to people who maybe haven't tried it yet. But the uncertainty moments come, like we went whale watching, and to step into the boat was terrifying for me. And that would sound silly to somebody who doesn't understand, but I'm clumsy. I need to explore one of the things that he was talking about, the captain looked at me and he goes, "You're not going snorkeling." And it's like, well, I already knew that because I couldn't pull myself up back onto a boat anymore. So like doing something new or that I'm not used to, that's probably the only time right now I don't focus on uncertainty about the future, because that doesn't do me any good except to make sure things are in place, with anyway, all the legal stuff to make sure things are in place, living trust and blah, blah, blah. But it's those in the moment uncertainties that are really hard. And what helps is I'm a spiritual person, and prayer and meditation does help, like pausing in the moment and taking a deep breath. About that, stepping into the boat as an example, that stuff. But it's that pausing. But it does me no good to focus on, and I'm not saying it's wrong to do, and sometimes I go off in the direction, the what ifs, and and I've lost almost everything that was my identity. Baseball luckily was always, so go Mariners. So we went to the game the other night. That was really sad. But anyway, so.
I think, Michael, are we at time?
I think we are, unless anyone has a last question they want to sneak in. Maybe one last one if you have one. If not, we can move to the next session. Okay. I just want to say I've done 20 of these patient days, and this is one of the most thoughtful, introspective panels I've seen. And it makes me think that only really smart people may get SPS, given your comments. I'm serious. I don't think that's a coincidence. Anyways, thank you so much. It was really beautiful. We've recorded this, so this will benefit other patients when they find this online. All these sessions will be put up on YouTube. All our patient days we do this. So thank you, because I think many other people will benefit from your wisdom. Thank you.
I echo Michael. I'm really grateful for all of you and really appreciate all of you for being so vulnerable up here and sharing all this insightful, wonderful information that can help others. So thank you so much.